All right, we're inside the war room, and we've got an hour. We've got an hour of inside the war room. We did a special war room last night after the debate, and we're going to dig right into that debate. As I said yesterday,
what?
Big fight feel. Trump
Last night was
v. Kamala. All right. On the panel.
You're a wrestling guy. That's why you brought all your wrestling analogies.
You know, don't go there, okay? Listen, I can do that. All right, we've got Barry Markson, KTAR legal analyst. Bear, good to have you back in the war room. How are you?
Good to be here, boys.
We've got Stacy Pearson, Democratic strategist, Lumen Strategies. Hi, Stacy.
Hello.
And we've got Brandon Tatum, of course, a former Tucson police officer. You can catch him on social media. Officer Tatum, a big Trump supporter. We're glad that you're here. Thanks for coming, Brandon. Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you as well.
It's been a few years. We're
Welcome
glad
to
you're
the
here.
war room.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right, we'll start with Brandon. Who won the debate last night?
Well, I think by a small margin, Donald Trump won, given the fact the second half of the debate and then his closing arguments, I think, was very illuminating and saying you had 3 years to accomplish all these things you're claiming. Why haven't you done it? So to me, and I'm a Trump supporter, so of course he said the things that I like to hear, but I think he won.
Barry?
Well, I guess this is what I'll tell you. Nobody who wins the debate walks into the spin room right afterwards. Nobody who wins the debate is bashing the moderator after the debate. Nobody who wins the debate is immediately saying, I don't want to ever debate her again. So I find it a little – I watched the debate. It was a train wreck. He wasn't Biden-level train wreck from June, but
There's
There's
such.
nothing like
No,
that.
I
There is
agree.
no other. That is a new bookend of train wrecks.
I agree. But what Trump did is after about 20 minutes, she hit him with the point about you should attend one of his rallies and see that, and you could see it change in Trump. And he just he ranted. It got very personal for him. The narcissism kicked in. And I think once that happened, this is what Kamala Harris and her folks wanted to have happen. He started becoming very defensive. He was on his heels, and you just kept seeing him kind of back up. And he never looked at her. He never said her name. He seemed like he was kind of thrown the whole time. I honestly don't know how you could say he won. No offense to you personally, but I'm just saying I've seen a lot of people online saying he won. And here's one thing I'll just mention is when June happened to Biden, there weren't people on the Democrat side saying, hey,
He did a great job.
Biden was great. He won that debate. I mean, nobody did that. But, but
myself included.
Yeah, so you could be a Trump guy.
I thought you were going to throw up.
I thought I was going to throw up, my friends. I thought I was going to throw up.
I mean, so you could be a Trump guy and say he had a bad day. And that's okay.
Did he have a bad day, Brandon?
I think he had a terrible day. I think he did not prepare. But the winning and losing comes down to what did the American people gain from this? You know, Kamala Harris didn't explain any of her policy positions. The economy is one of the biggest things that people are concerned about. And what did she say about the economy? The very first question of the debate was, are you better off now than you were 3 years ago? She did not answer that question
That actually
whatsoever.
wasn't the question, though.
It was the question.
It was not. It was, what will you do?
No, first
moving
question of the
forward?
debate. No, first question of the debate. He said, are you better off now than you were 3 years ago? And she completely dodged the question. Donald Trump could have ended the debate very quickly. All he had to say is that, listen, don't give me time. Give the time back to her to explain to the American people why are we struggling right now when you've been in a position of power. The Democrats have been in office for 12
She's not the president of the United
States.
States.
She's a part of the administration, and she advocated with Joe Biden in re-election.
It's blaming a backup quarterback for the final score. Like, she is not the president of the United States yet.
The backup quarterback does have to participate in practice. The backup quarterback does give good looks to the defense on the other side of the ball.
He knows football,
the
by the way.
of course.
The
No, of
backup
course.
quarterback should be challenging the starting quarterback and making him the best version of himself. He doesn't just sit on the sideline and not participate in film or be a team player.
But who gets the MVP? Not the backup.
Well,
like that. This is like
that's
the
just like saying the offensive line doesn't get an MVP. Yeah, the quarterback did all the work, but if you're not blocking, the quarterback is not throwing the ball. She says she was the final word in the Afghanistan withdrawal. She claims that she did so much in the administration, and she touted about their accomplishments, but now she's not involved in it.
So whose fault is it? Because, Brandon, it sounds like you should have been debating Kamala Harris.
I would have swept her across the debate stage.
Okay, so the problem is Trump.
Oh, my
That
God.
he either doesn't have the ability or the temperament to make that argument.
I think it's two things. I think he did not prepare, and I don't think he has what it takes to argue and debate like he should. He cannot recall some of his accomplishments. She talked about when he was way back in the day when he was discriminated against black people in housing. She forget that he got an award right next to Rosa Parks for what he had done in the black community. The Rainbow Coalition in 1998 with Jesse Jackson gave him an award for the things that he did in the inner city communities.
Yeah, because that's when if you gave money to Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, they gave you an award.
That's not his fault.
I mean, come on. He was charged. He was charged with a crime for discriminating against people, against black people in his housing projects. I mean, let's move on to the debate. But this was, and I think Brandon would agree with this. Trump's almost 80 years old, and he's not the guy he was. He's not as quick. He doesn't respond to things as fast. It doesn't come back. You not look.
But this is how
when
he
I'm
debates,
80,
though.
I doubt I'll be as good as I am now.
And we're inside the war room. We've got Barry Markson, Stacy Pearson, Brandon Tatum, Bruce and Gaydos. This is how he prepares for a debate. He just
by not preparing.
But he's done that, and he's done well in the past.
It's worked for him in the past. Yeah.
Okay, so what did he run into yesterday? Because I thought at the very beginning she was very nervous. I thought her voice was a little shaky.
I thought she had dry mouth.
I did too.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it was one of those
nervous.
things where she started out nervous, and it's almost. I'll give you another analogy. An NHL playoff game. We don't know anything about that here in Arizona, but an NHL playoff game. If you're on the road, you gotta withstand the storm in the first 5 minutes, and that's what she did. And then she hit him with that. People are bored at your events, and I think that took him completely out of the game. Where it ticked him off so much that
he couldn't.
She had it. She had him.
Well, she did this in every answer. Regardless of what the question was, she threw in a barb, a zinger, something personal.
They baited him.
A bait.
It was obviously
and he took the bait.
He took the bait
20 times out of 20.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And you knew they told him not to do that, right? You know somebody said you got to
don't take the bait.
And he did it during the Biden debate. He stayed pretty cool during the Biden debate and didn't jump on that as much.
This is his 7th presidential debate. That was her first.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
For her to have knocked it out of the park the way she did in her first presidential debate and his 7th is impressive.
Well, let's be clear. I think she did perform well. She did prepare, but she didn't say anything. What is she going to do about the economy? Why didn't she do anything about the illegal immigration in this country? She don't even have a plan to fix that. She won't even admit that it's an issue. I think the American people looked at it and said, yeah, if you want to talk about debate preparation, she did a lot better job than he did. But when you just want to talk about substance, what substance did we leave with? Are we feeling like Kamala Harris can really run the country? Can she really defeat, foreign governments in wars and keep us out of those situations that we shouldn't be in? And the answer is she didn't show anything that would give us that.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, and she did bring up some of the things she'd do in the economy, giving $50,000 to small business owners, make things grow. She talked about some of her policies. She also brought up that Goldman Sachs and Wharton Business School, which is where Trump went, and he likes to trumpet where he went to business school. Those folks who are nonpartisan, they all came out and said her policies are going to be better for the economy, are going to grow the economy and have less debt than Trump's policies, which are going to add $5.8 trillion to the debt if he wins, over the next 4 years, and slow the economy.
That sounds cute, but when Donald Trump was president, did that happen? No, he boosted the economy.
What?
We did very well.
That absolutely happened.
The point of part of this discussion, why this show is so popular, is that we don't come on and just repeat talking points that are sent to us from campaigns. It is a discussion about what really matters to people in Arizona who are making decisions about who they're voting for. And you can say you don't like what she said, but to say she didn't say it is insane. She talked about a small business tax credit of $50,000.
Well, who's going to pay for it?
That's the question you should be asking. Not that she didn't say it. You just said she didn't say it.
It doesn't matter.
And that's not true.
No, when you say something that doesn't have substance, then you might as well not have said it.
Who's going to pay for the tariffs then?
Who's going to build the wall?
Who's going to build the wall?
Mexico never paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Trump says the same crazy crap.
If our government wasn't obstructing against Donald Trump, we'd have had the wall built. It's funny how Kamala Harris in her campaign.
Have you seen the wall? It's a joke. It's a rusted disaster on your way to Rocky Point.
In Kamala Harris's campaign video, she shows the wall and claims that she's going to prevent illegal aliens from coming in our country. We should all be in lockstep of securing the border. Is she going to secure the border?
Well, they have now. It took 3 years.
They didn't secure the border is not secured.
Well, they took 3.5 years, but they've
the
actually
border is not secured.
Well, what does that mean?
That's why she's arguing about it on the debate stage.
The amount of people coming across the border, whether with asylum seekers or just coming in on their own, has slowed considerably since Biden finally did something a few months ago.
Considerably is not true.
I'm going to pop in. All right. So it's a great first segment. Let's continue it. I've got 2 issues on immigration that I want to bring up in the next segment. One is from Trump. One is from Kamala, and I don't understand either one of them. I think they're both bizarre, and so hold on to that. It's the War Room, and we're coming back in just a second.
All right. Appreciate you guys spending a little bit of time with us today inside our Wednesday War Room. Quick shout out to all of our friends, listeners, everyone out in Peoria, Gaydos. Shout out to Peoria.
Hey, we're in the War Room. It's Bruce and Gaydos. We've got Brandon Tatum, former Tucson police officer, Trump supporter. Check him out on social media, Officer Tatum. We've got Barry Markson, our legal analyst here at KTAR, and Stacy Pearson, a Democratic strategist.
Hey, he's at the Officer Tatum.
The Officer Tatum.
The Officer Tatum.
They can find it.
Yeah.
Just put it in there.
Just like I'm the Bruce St. James. That's so if anybody else tries to copy our style, we're like, no, we're the. That's how it works.
I want to talk about two immigration stories, one from Trump's side and one from Kamala's side. Here's what Trump said yesterday about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. Let's listen.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
You talk about extreme.
Okay. Listen, I fully don't understand this story. I don't know where it came from. Let's start with you, Brandon. What in the world is... they're not eating dogs out there. Are they eating dogs?
100% the Haitians are eating animals in the park. They're taking them. There's reports on it. I did a video today. Anybody can bet me money on it right here on the show.
They're eating people's pets?
They're taking...
No,
they are not.
No.
Not eating people's pets.
There's a video out right now. People can look it up. I put it on the internet. It's a woman eating a cat.
It's on the
in middle of
internet?
an
You put a
apartment
video on
complex.
the internet? It
No,
makes it true.
It's a body-worn camera from a police officer in Ohio. A woman is in the
Canton,
middle of a apartment
Ohio.
complex eating a cat. Now,
Not Springfield, Ohio.
It doesn't matter because
and not an immigrant. She's
but
an American
they don't
citizen.
know who this woman is. According to a woman in Ohio that sent me the video, she said that
A
that could be
woman?
a Haitian immigrant.
She's an American
Now, listen,
citizen.
you can say that. That's fine. Okay, we got a lot more. There's a police report, or at least the audio of a 911 call of Haitian immigrants taking geese and taking them and eating them. There's a gentleman at a town
That
hall.
is not your cats and dogs.
Listen, I got the video.
I've seen these crazy people.
You can say
I've
that.
seen them. They're
Or
lunatics.
do you live there?
Of course I don't. Do
Okay,
you?
do
Brandon,
you know? I'm
but-
just saying, reports are coming out with
There's
people
not-
who live there
here's
that
no
are saying that these things
credible
are happening.
report.
Here's
Man.
According to who?
According to the city
I
manager.
just saw Bigfoot
According to
walk
the-
down the street.
Okay,
I just saw
okay.
Bigfoot.
Hold on, send
That's
me video,
Bigfoot.
and then
Okay,
it's
I'll
true.
put video up, and then it's Bigfoot.
No, put money on it. There's a citizen that was at the Ohio
I'll put my
city
dog
council
on
me-
it,
Yeah.
and I really,
city
really
council
love my
meeting
dog.
Yep.
that said that he witnessed Haitians eating animals and their pets are getting eaten.
Racist
And Brandon-
idiot.
and
is what
Brandon,
he
there's
is.
somebody
He was a
what-
black man.
Racist
He's
idiot.
a black racist idiot, is what
Yeah.
you're saying? Why do you want to argue with me about it instead of
It's
looking
not
at the
true.
facts?
Because it's not true.
It's not
because
true.
The, because
True.
the city manager
Bet me
said there
right
have-
here on the radio.
Because
The
the
police
city
said it's
manager.
not
I
true.
will
I'm not going to bet you have
$1,000
video.
to anybody right on
It's
the
not true.
radio.
I'm not doubting that you have a
I
video.
will literally
what I'm saying is
spot
this,
you $1,000.
One at a time.
city-
One at a time. One at
the
a time.
city manager of Springfield has said we have had no credible reports of this happening.
But the citizens are saying that this is true.
The police department
The
has said
citizens
we have
are saying
no,
that it's true.
You know what, Brandon? There's people who go to the county.
The
county-
911
Stop a second.
call.
There are people who go to the county supervisor meetings here and say they have eyewitness reports of people stealing the election, of inserting 350,000 ballots in the election. It's fake. It's false. Because
You're saying
one
the people
person,
who live there are lying.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm
100%.
saying. That's
How is
exactly
that
what
fair?
I'm saying.
How's that fair?
Because they're lying,
They
Brandon.
don't like
And
the Haitians
and
in their
here's-
neighborhood.
And here's the problem. The guy who wants to
They're
be
lying.
the president
Yeah.
of the
Conveniently.
United States is taking this ridiculous conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory?
Yes. And taking this ridiculous,
So a conspiracy
made
theory-
up conspiracy theory.
Hold on. A conspiracy theory is a strange story that is told to the
Citizens
American
are complaining
public.
about this.
It's ridiculous. And he went on a debate.
You're saying the
to be
citizens are
president.
lying. That's
yes,
fine.
yes,
No,
exactly
yes.
what I'm saying.
He
And he's
believes
saying-
them and you don't.
No, it's not. But why would he make that part of
Why
this
would they
debate?
make it? Why would they lie about Haitians taking these animals?
So okay,
Wow.
so let's go back to the beginning. You
don't like
want-
Haitians,
You
I can
want
assure you.
Trump. You want Trump to win. Okay, you support him. I support.
I want
Kamala
America
Harris.
to win, which is Donald Trump.
Okay, so
We disagree on
do
that.
do you think that this eating dog story is helpful?
Yeah, I think if illegal aliens or immigrants are coming in and destroying these cities, people in the cities
They're
care.
not
and
destroying the cities.
Destroying a city.
They're eating a goose. Maybe they got some foie gras or something.
Well, now you're admitting that they get taking geese.
I'm not admitting
that
that
is what it is.
But what I know
Cats
is
and dogs are different than geese.
When real credible news organizations and Fox, everybody goes to the actual people who run the city and ask these questions.
You believe everything the city people say. What about the people who live there?
I'm going to release some crazy person who sends a video
Why they gotta be
to you.
crazy?
The people.
Because
There's
they're
6
lying.
people.
They're crazy people?
Yes, they're crazy people.
That's fine.
They're
It's a
crazy
way to
people.
denigrate immigrants.
Why-
They're not illegal.
why is it that
It's
you're
They're not
denigrating
illegal,
immigrants?
which again makes it through. They're not
They're
illegal.
don't
Haitian,
live
they're
there.
Haitian refugees.
They are
don't
Haitian
live
refugees
there.
that are here and they're working there, and the locals don't like
And
it.
they're here legally,
You're
by the way.
assuming,
Here
you're
legally.
assuming
Haitians-
that these people hate these Haitians.
Yes.
Maybe they have a
You should
actual
see some of the
grievance.
other city council
We
meetings
don't live there.
where
You
they
understand
talked
they're
about
not-
how much they hate them.
They're not illegal immigrants. You know that, right?
Well, I don't know about the Haitians, but there are illegal immigrants in this country that are causing
No,
a big
but we're
problem.
talking about the
Haitians.
Haitians in Springfield.
That's fine.
They're legally.
But they cannot
were
be
invited
eating.
to
They
be
cannot
there.
be eating animals from the pond and eating animals in the open.
But what does that have to do with illegal
Okay,
immigration?
all right,
Because it's
guys,
illegal.
guys,
But
guys,
it's
guys,
legal
guys.
immigration.
Guys. All right. That's part one.
That's only part one. How many parts are there?
I got another one. When we come back, we're inside the war room. I want to know, and this is something that Trump brought up, and I think it's something that we should discuss and find out if this is real or not. Illegal immigrants getting a sex change and
While in custody.
While incarcerated.
right? American taxpayers paying for that. Now she was for that in 2019. And did the moderators ask her about that, or did Trump have to bring that up last night? Why don't we discuss that when we come back? That's the second part of, I guess, the immigration issue. One of the things. We are inside the war room. We've got Brandon Tatum. We've got Stacy Pearson and Barry Markson. Oh, and Gaydos. Bruce, we're here too.
Yeah.
It is the war room, and we got 30 minutes left, so don't move. All right, we're back inside the war room. We got Barry Markson, KTAR legal analyst, Stacy Pearson, Democratic strategist, Lumen Strategies. We've got Trump supporter Brandon Tatum, also a former Tucson police officer. All right, so in the last segment, I never thought we'd talk about it. Did people eat other people's dogs in Ohio?
No.
Okay, well, Brandon says yes. You guys say no.
No.
Why don't we go to, and it was under, like, the umbrella of immigration.
Right.
Okay, so Haitian immigrants were stealing people's pets and eating them. All right, let's move on from that. I want to talk about something that Kamala said in 2019, and I want to know if this is true.
It's true.
It's true.
Okay, so
It's true.
all right, so in what was it, 2019? Mm-hmm. Okay,
The ACLU
yes,
sent out a questionnaire, and they sent it to all candidates running for president. And it had a whole bunch of questions on there. Needless to say, ACLU specific, and there were questions in there about immigration, immigrants, and she answered them
right.
a certain way.
Her response was that she supported policies to allow federal inmates to obtain medically necessary care for gender transition while incarcerated. But
that included
those in prison and immigration
undocumented people
detention.
who were being held in detention. Yes.
Okay. It's a pretty stupid policy. Does she still believe this policy?
No, she says she doesn't, and it's not
Okay.
part of her platform. That's what she said.
Of course, she says that
We
now.
all.
Well, but that's what she said.
She held the policy for over 12 years, and she never changed until now. They tapped her to be the president or run for president, and now she want to change her policy. It's so ridiculous. That's why she's now saying that she don't hold
Do
true to
you
that
think
policy
a
position.
candidate for the vice presidency was filling out her own questionnaires?
She ran for president. She filled it out in 2019 when she was running for president.
You just made my point even more strongly. Do you think she was sitting there on an airplane filling out her own questionnaires, or was it a legion of her comm staff?
They don't
She
do that.
wasn't looking.
You telling me that they're that far off? They just totally made up a fake lie about her position on that particular topic.
Let's just acknowledge she ran at the time as a person
A
very
progressive
as a
primary,
progressive,
yep.
and at that time, what was going on in 2019, she answered a lot of questions and had policies that today we look at and say
kind of like Trump did
It was
on
ridiculous.
abortion.
No,
that
that's
is
not
settled,
true.
that
Yeah,
is
we
settled
can
law.
we can talk about that now. But
Trump's changed his abortion position.
no, he didn't change his abortion
He changed it twice last week.
He did not. He did not change his abortion
He
position.
absolutely did.
No, he did not.
Hold on, Barry. Why did he
We
change?
can
He
walk
changed his
through it.
abortion
Yesterday, last week, he was asked in Florida. There's a similar
ballot initiative,
like the one in Arizona, very similar to that. Because in Florida, they passed a 6-week abortion ban, which in essence says there is no abortion in Florida. They passed the same law in Texas, and there were 6 abortions in Texas, whereas before that was passed, there were 50,000. So it's basically eliminating abortion. So the people put it on the ballot to say, well, this is ridiculous, this 6-week thing. And Trump was asked, do you support this or not? And he said 6 weeks is too short. We need more time. And he definitely inferred he was going to vote for it. And then what happened is a lot of folks on the right and the Christian right said, we got very upset about it and said that you are destroying this. We can't vote for you. And the next day, he went and talked to another reporter and said, I'm voting against.
Yeah.
He changed his position. In 24 hours, he changed the position twice.
He said that he did not like what was in that particular ballot initiative. That's why he voted against it. Donald Trump has never been a strong Christian. He's never been for pro-life. He just haven't been strong.
He was a Democrat, for the love.
Right, and he haven't been pro-life. We all know that. And Christians still don't like the fact that Trump is so weak on it. But he has been clear about his stances on abortions, which I don't like, but he's been consistent.
Let's listen to a clip.
I'm sorry, I was going to say one thing.
Yeah.
When Trump filled out these questionnaires before the 2016 election, he said he was pro-life and he was anti-abortion.
Exactly.
That's what he said. But I'm saying he changed his position.
No.
Just
he's
Kamala
never been against abortion altogether. He always had the exceptions.
Okay, here's Trump last night talking about abortion.
Her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me.
All right,
it's not okay because that's murder in the United States.
Let's start with
isn't it?
Stacy on this one.
Yes, let's.
All right, what do you got? You heard that. Your reaction is what?
It's as ridiculous as the immigrants eating dogs. There is not a state in the union that allows for post-birth abortion. It is murder. And so to continue to pretend like this is happening is insanity. And same is true of late trimester abortions, late in pregnancy abortions. No one is aborting a viable baby at 7.5 months.
Unless there's a serious medical issue or something.
No, that is not true. Just recently, and I want everybody that's listening.
Did this happen with your?
No.
When
I
you were
want
pregnant?
everybody to listen to this. When you go to my YouTube channel, I put a video out. It's out right now, where I debunk this. There was a young lady who called an abortion clinic, and she said they told her by the time she got in, she'd be 34 weeks. They said they will schedule and perform an abortion on her at 34 weeks. The former governor of Virginia, you can look this up. We can bet after the show.
We've got a lot of bets going.
The former governor of Virginia said that they performed abortions after the baby was born.
No, he didn't.
Put some money on it.
I watched it.
I'll give you the clip in the break. I'll give you the clip in the break.
I've seen the break. I've seen
what
the clip.
What did he say?
Brandon, tell me which state. And I'm going to ask you a direct question.
This was in Virginia.
You were a police officer?
I'm not asking
this
about.
was
you were
in Virginia.
Hang on a second. I know Virginia. I want you to tell me which state has a law that says you can murder a child after it's born, and I want to know what the statute is. Because the answer is it doesn't exist. You're taking something that a guy said in an off-the-cuff interview, and he said something.
He explained a post-abortion,
but that's not the law, Brandon. It was a misspoken by an idiot.
He just completely misspoke for 10 minutes.
Brandon, tell me the law. Tell me which state has the law.
Did you listen to the interview?
It's not the law.
So he lied.
Hey, how
yes.
Okay.
He's mistaken or he misspoke. It's not the law. It's murder. Now, as a parent, I will tell you there are times I think we should have post-birth abortion.
Crying out loud.
I would nominate folks right now.
Of course you do.
But Brandon, the point is it's a lie. There is
not a
no
lie.
state. There is no state in this country that allows a post-birth abortion. It doesn't exist.
Before we get out of here, let me give Brandon the last word here, and then we're going to move on. Last word on this subject. Go ahead.
About the abortions?
Yes.
Well, I lost track of where we were at. But at the end of the day, I think Donald Trump has been clear. I think conservatives are going to be on one side and people who are left are going to be on the other side. I wish that they would quit saying women's health care, because it's not about women's health care, because women do have the right to actually keep their baby if they want it. This is about murdering babies. This is about abortions, very clearly. This is what they say. This is what the Democrat platform is standing on.
How do you tell me it's not about my health care?
Is it murder? Is it murder?
No.
No.
It's not murder if you take the life of an unborn baby.
No.
If you were pregnant right
No.
now and I punched you in the stomach in your first trimester and the baby died, I would go to prison for murder.
No, you would not.
What do you mean?
Where were you? Where were you a police officer? Like,
I was a police officer here. You want to put money on that bed?
I am married to a police officer.
A police officer just shot a woman who was pregnant. He got charged with 2 counts of murder.
Oh my
Is
God.
that true or not?
Well, which state was it in?
It's in every single state that you kill a pregnant woman, or you kill the baby of a pregnant woman.
There are laws.
You will go to
There are
jail.
statutes like that.
No, there are statutes.
I know I'm right.
Okay.
You're not wrong about
All right. This is what we're going to do next. Let's get a little bit less controversial inside the war room. We're going to talk about January 6th, and that's coming up next.
We're back inside the war room. Oh, we've got just a precious few minutes. Let's get right back into it, Gaydos, for goodness sakes.
All right. So how about something less controversial?
There we go. Bring the temperature of the room down, Gaydos.
January 6th.
Oh, for the love of God.
All right. We've talked everything from the debate. We've talked about. Let's not even go through that.
No,
go
there's
listen to the podcast.
no reason.
Okay. So we've got Brandon Tatum in here, Trump supporter. You can catch him on social media. The Officer Tatum. We've got Stacy Pearson, Democratic strategist. Barry Markson, KTAR legal analyst. Couple things on January 6th during last night's debate. Trump.
Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big.
All right, one more clip. Donald Trump.
Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace.
All right, let me start with Barry Markson. Your thoughts on the clip?
It's frankly the most disgusting thing I've heard. And I have to tell you, Brandon, I know you're a former police officer, and this is something that bothers me a lot. Trump, who keeps saying he supports police officers, has literally said he wants to pardon January 6 defendants, and hundreds of them have been convicted of beating and injuring police officers.
Assaulting police.
Yes.
I mean, it's over the top to say that these people are somehow patriots or martyrs or deserve our support. They hurt police officers. There is no excuse for that. And for anybody to come out and say these people are patriots and heroes and should be pardoned, it's unacceptable. And to say that nobody died on that day, other than Ashley, yes. But several police officers died within the next several days. There were over 150 police officers who were severely injured from what happened on that day. How is that okay? But that's not okay.
I think we all agree that if you fight a police officer or you violate the law, you got to go to jail. There were people that didn't do any of those things that I think are caught up in this, and I support those people who are not.
Took a nice tour of the building.
Yeah, if
looked around.
Grandma's walking in there with an iPhone out. Like that's not. I don't think that rises to the occasion. But anybody that put their hands on a police officer, I don't care what you think your cause was. You're going to jail, and I'm fine with that.
If Trump does a blanket pardon and pardons all
I don't think he's going to do that, and I don't agree with him pardoning every single person there.
Well, I appreciate that. No, I genuinely.
Because it's common sense. If you broke the law, you broke the law, and you got to do your time. But the excessive stuff that they're doing, some of the people that didn't just walked in there, escorted in by police, all the video that we saw, I think those people shouldn't be caught up in that.
There may be a handful of people, and there's a grandma. I know there's fun stories to talk about, but the vast majority of these people were not those people.
But the vast majority
they were violent, and they were breaking the law.
The vast majority of people at that rally had nothing to do with the Capitol building. There was over 100,000 people there. But most of them didn't, and Donald Trump did say, patriotically and peacefully, let your voice be heard.
But he also
said fight like hell.
Yeah, he said fight like hell.
But forget what he said. He went back to the White House, and for 187 minutes didn't do a
watched
thing.
chaos.
He didn't do a thing. He watched
What about
Fox
Nancy
News.
Pelosi and the other people that were responsible for security?
It's not.
That's true. 100%
She is not
true.
responsible for security.
She is responsible for
She is
security.
not
That is not true.
responsible for
Why did
security.
in the video that leaked of
That is
her
not
daughter,
true.
Brandon,
the
it's not
video. People can decide for themselves.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's a fact
You
or
guys
it's
are clearly
not.
saying it's not true.
Because it's a
But I
fact.
think you guys are wrong.
Well, we're not wrong.
You
it's a
think
fact.
it's a fact. I believe it's a fact that she was responsible for security.
There's alternate facts, so that's okay.
It's fine.
Aliens
Let
were
the
in
people-
charge of security.
let-
I mean, that's as
let the people-
illogical as Nancy
let the
Pelosi.
people
Is
that listen to
democracy
figure it out.
on the ballot this time
No,
around?
no.
It absolutely.
Absolutely.
How?
We have a guy running for office who literally led a coup.
Donald
to
Trump
stay
was
in
the
office.
president.
Yeah, and he
Already.
and
did he stay
And
in
he
office?
lost.
And did he stay in
because
office?
the coup failed.
Okay.
And you know why the coup failed? Because
A
Republicans stayed up.
president cannot lead a coup in the United States of America.
Are you nuts?
Well, then Trump
I'm
would've done
asking
it.
sincerely. If you ate the same bear that RFK did, a president.
Oh, now we're
certainly.
attacking RFK. I think he's an honorable guy. I think a
my
lot of
God.
people believed him and followed him.
Can I ask you a
But
real
of course,
question?
because he
Can I-
supports
all
Trump,
right.
now he's a crooked man.
I want to ask you a real question because you're a patriot. Is it okay for a person who for 250 years we've had a peaceful transition of power from the presidency every single year, single year. Is it okay with you that if somebody attempted to stay in office despite losing an election?
I disagree with you.
I'm not asking about Trump.
He attempted to stay in office.
Yes.
How?
He sued every swing state.
No.
That's
if he
okay.
sued a swing state and the court doesn't take the case, that's called our democracy.
Here's the coup.
in the legal
and we got to
system.
leave it there,
Here's
guys.
the coup is the election deniers. We have it here in Arizona because they wanted. There's a coup.
Hillary Clinton denied the election. Trump's whole campaign.
And we got to leave it. You know what? Like, we were almost moderators. We could have turned microphones off here today. Hey, I want to thank Stacy Pearson. I want to thank Barry Markson and Brandon Tatum. Nice to see you again. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for a spirited war room. That was a total understatement by Gaydos. And if you just tuned in, you missed an hour of the war room, and you should absolutely go back and listen to it on the podcast.
Hear, hear. We do it each and every Wednesday, for goodness sakes. Figure that out, right?
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.